Hello everyone, Patrice Jiwandono here. Today's topic is text and conceptual meaning. I'm going to explain how the words and the language that we hear and we use actually help us conceptualize the world. It constructs the reality for us. Okay, now let's go to my PowerPoint slides. Yes, so this is a topic for today, text and conceptual meaning. Again, the emphasis on this lecture is how the words help us construct reality. How the words that we use and we speak and we hear help us conceptualize the world around us. How it shapes our perception, how it influences the way we think. Okay, so that's such the power of words. Okay, yeah. So the lecture is taken from this book, the book that I have been using to teach discourse analysis at Macun University. Still relatively new, 2016. And this specifically refers to page 45 until 54. Now, first concept that I would like to introduce is what we call linguistic relativity. It is also called Whorf hypothesis because it is named after the expert who came up with this idea. So the essence of this theory is that the grammar and the vocabulary of language construct reality. It does not only reflect the world out there, but it also constructs the world out there. It constructs reality, and it forces the reality, the constructed reality to us in such a way so that we have a certain perception, a certain way of thinking, a certain attitude toward the world out there. Yeah, so once again, it constructs reality. Now, let me give you 3 sentences. Now, actually, they gave the same message about an accident. But look at how each of the sentences phrase or express the reality, and then you can feel the difference. So the first one is 2 men were killed when the stolen police motorcycle they were riding was involved in a crash with an unmarked police car. So this is what happened. Yeah. And B, police murdered 2 17-year-olds on a motorcycle by ramming them with their unmarked police car. Still telling about the same accident, but now you can look at the way the event is expressed in words. Now you have of course, when you read this, you will have the impression that it is the police who were to blame because they did something atrocious, something cruel. They murdered these teenagers. Yeah. And still, we have seen 2 youths killed themselves by driving their motorcycle into an unmarked police car. Now, here, when you read this, you have a different sense, a different meaning, a different impression about what actually happened. You would put the blame on the 2 youths. You probably would think that it's very stupid for those 2 youths because they killed themselves by driving their motorcycle into a police car. So they were to blame. Yeah, the police is innocent. The police is innocent. Yeah. So the same event, same incident, expressed in different wordings, different words, and then each of them constructs the reality for you. If you happen to read B, then you would put the blame on the police. You would think that the police is very cruel for murdering the teenagers. But if you happen to read C, then you would put the blame on the 2 youths. You would think that they were stupid. Probably they were drunk because they drove the motorcycle into an unmarked police car, which eventually killed them. Yeah, so again, this is an example of how language or how words construct the reality out there. Yeah, this is a proof of a linguistic relativity by Worf. Yeah. If you read the book, there is a explanation that there is a strong version and a weak version. But anyhow, the essence is the same. The language somehow constructs the reality for us and influences us to perceive the world in a certain way. Yeah. Now, if that way of the language constructing your reality is the only acceptable way, and there is no other way of accepting the reality, and then that's it. That's you would think that it is the natural way of looking at the world. Yeah. You would think that it is the natural way of words constructing your reality. And so it comes to the term naturalization. Yeah, the language that we read or listen is the only natural way of perceiving reality. So we take it for granted and we don't question it further. We take it for granted that the words have to construct the reality for us. We wait for the words, we wait for the language to construct the reality for us. And that's natural. That's called naturalization. Okay? Yeah. Now, let's look at the vocabulary and the words. Now, the words or the vocabulary have the power of reflecting ideological values. For example, words can reflect ideological values by categorizing the entities out there, categorizing all we see and all we experience in life. So you have categories like upper class, straight, yeah, gays, newbie, radical, nationalist, even pelakor. It's an attempt of the words, of the vocabulary to classify or categorize all the entities out there so that it constructs the reality for us. Then as a result, we will see the world in a different way. We would see the world as consisting of categories of people. Some people are straight, some people are gays, some people belong to upper class, some people belong to middle and lower class. Yeah. There are newbie, there are advanced level people, there are people who express their radical thoughts, there are nationalist people, and there are people who try to snatch somebody else's spouse, like pelakor. Yeah, so really those words conceptualize or classify the objects out there in the world, and then so by doing so they construct the reality for us. Yeah. On page 15 you have some nouns. Yeah, I will talk about it later, but when we use nouns, actually that reflects the categories of things. When we use adjectives, we refer to or we want to express relatively permanent qualities. And when verbs are used, we refer to temporary qualities. The explanation about that is coming in a minute. Yeah, okay. And stereotyping. Now, stereotyping is an act of thinking that on the basis of one or two cases, we generalize that characteristic to the larger group. Simply because a few black people are commit criminal acts, yeah, we think that all black people are that bad. All black people are criminals. Yeah, so that's stereotyping. Yeah. So one of the stereotypes is the black people are always drug dealers and criminals. That's a stereotype. Yeah, of course that doesn't apply in reality. That doesn't apply to every black people or every black person. Of course, there are many black persons who make some high achievements. They are reputable, like Barack Obama. Yeah, and so, but we tend to suppress it because our stereotype tells us that black people are bad because they are drug dealers and criminals. Yeah, that's stereotype. Okay, metaphor is also a very powerful tool of language to construct the reality. And if you look at advertisements, brochures, and some discourse, you would realize that women are most of the time likened to objects for men, yeah, objects for the pleasure of men. So words that refer to women usually describe their looks, their youth, their sexuality, and in general their desirability for men. Yeah. Well, look at SPG. Yeah. Branded cars, luxurious cars with all the hot girls surrounding the cars, white girls in tight miniskirt and very minimally clad. Yeah, that's one of the attempt to construct the reality for us. Yeah, the words or the metaphors being used suggest that women are merely objects to be played with, yeah, and that's for the pleasure of men. Yeah, okay. Okay, now, yeah, I've just promised you that I'll explain further about nouns and verbs. Yeah. Now this comes the explanation. How parts of speech construct reality. So, for example, we hear this sentence: "The lecturer bored me." Now, bored is a verb in the past tense. So the implication is that, well, it happened that the lecturer was not very prepared on that particular day, and so the lecture bored me. It's okay, it's just a one incident in the past. But then you come to the second one: the lecturer bores me. Now the verb is in present tense. It reflects something a bit worse than the previous one. It implies that that's a habit of the lecturer to bore you, yeah, to make you bored. And then comes number 3, the lecturer is boring. Now, the adjective boring makes it a permanent feature. Yeah, it's even worse than number 2 or number 1, because when you use adjective boring and that you attach it to the lecturer, then it is a permanent feature of him or her to be boring. Yeah, so number 3 is worse than number 1 and number 2, yeah, because now the quality of being boring is now a permanent feature. It's made a permanent feature in him or her. Yeah. Number 4, the lecturer is a bore. Now this is a noun. The bore is a noun, and then makes it even worse because now it suggests that the lecturer is born to be a bore, to be boring all the time. Yeah, being boring is one of his or her permanent quality, and that's, of course, that's bad. Yeah. So you can see how the use of verb and nouns and adjective again construct the reality for us. Yeah. Okay. Now this is the task of this video. Please find some words that impose the way we classify objects or people. Find some words which somehow force some kind of classification into the way we perceive the world, into the way we think about the world. Yeah. So in terms of people, in terms of social economic status, in terms of rank, car, belief systems, and flight. Yeah, try to find some words which classify the world out there, and by doing that, they actually construct the reality for us in terms of these categories. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's it. 7 seconds is enough. Okay, now let me suggest you the answers. Okay, so in terms of people, you have pribumi, the indigenous people, you have keturunan. Yeah, when you look at the word pribumi, you know that the opposite of pribumi is keturunan, WNI keturunan. Yeah, now you can see the difference. Now you can also feel that those two words construct your reality. Yeah, construct the reality that you see. Now you have to see the world or the people in those categories. Alongside those categories, there are indigenous people and there are some other than indigenous people, which we call, or who we call WNI keturunan. Yeah. And then in terms of social economic status, we have the have, the rich people, rakyat, class economy, class business. This applies to traveling, of course, to transportation. Low end, if your gadget is low end, that's cheap. That's for people, just common people out there, not for exclusive class. Full service flight. Yeah, if you often travel by plane, and you'll see that this will make sense to you. Yeah, full service flight means expensive because you have the full service there, food on board, yeah, and all the niceties that the low career flight doesn't have. LCC flight is actually the opposite of full service flight. And then in terms of rank, you have ASDOS, stands for assistant docent here, the assistant to a lecturer, and docent, lecturer, guru, guru besar. Both contain the word guru, but of course this one is higher than this one. Okay, car, you have minibus, you have sedan, MPV, city car. Belief systems, you have atheist, agnostic, religious, kafir, infidel, mu'alaf, people who convert to another religion. Yeah, so these words actually not only reflect the world out there, but they also construct the reality. They influence the way you think about the world. And that's the power of vocabulary. That's the power of language. Okay? Okay, I have explained all of the principles of how text can conceptualize the world, how words and language and even grammar construct the reality for us. I hope that it is helpful for you to understand the lesson. Stay safe and stay healthy, and goodbye for now.